So welcome to a video where I'm going to show you how to input the chords for the blues 12-bar blues project that we started last week. Here is a version of the project that already has the walking bass line inputted. So we're going to start by adding a new track, and we're going to stick with a piano sound, which is our default sound, so we don't need to change anything at the bottom here. Before we get started, we're going to have a quick look at a couple of slides to do with the chords, just to do a bit of theory recap. So 3 chords we're going to use in the blues: C7, F7 and G7. Each chord has 4 notes, not 3, because it's an extended chord. In the C7 chord we need the 3 notes of the C triad, C, E and G, and then we also need a B flat. For an F chord, F7 chord, we've got F, A and C, and then we've got the 7th note, which is E flat. G chord, G, B, D, and then the extra note will be an F. The sequence for the 12 bar looks like this. First 4 bars is all using the chord of C, second 2 bars change to F, back to C, and then the last 4 bars once on G, once on F and twice on C. Same sequence as we used for doing the bass line last week. So let's get started. Going to create an empty region by just double clicking on the first bar and the second track that I've just created. So we're going to use a piano sound, we're going to use our pencil tool in the MIDI editor. We're going to start on C3, that's going to be the lowest note of our chord, so C3, and then the other notes will be stacked above this. What we're going to do is going to create a little rhythm pattern, and then we're just going to kind of copy and paste that rhythm pattern and adjust it for the different chords like we did last week. So first thing to do, just create a quaver on C3. Quaver, remember, is just going to fill in one of our column blocks, so it's going to end up finish halfway between the first and the second beat, so halfway between 1 and 1.2. We've got C, next note is going to be E, next note is going to be G, last note is going to be B flat, so black note, slightly darker line here. So we should have now C, E, G and B flat, all as quavers on the first beat. You could pause and do that. Okay, just to say about pausing the video, if you ever need to just pause at any time, you don't need to wait for me to tell you to pause. Just whenever you feel like you need to pause, you can pause it and carry on. So the second thing we're going to do is the same notes but on a different beat now, and we're going to do these halfway between 1.2 and 1.3. So it's going to be on this line just here, the one that's halfway between 1.2 and 1.3. Same 4 notes, so C, E, G and B flat. You might want to pause and do that. Make sure you get them in the right place, halfway between 1.2 and 1.3, so halfway between the second and third beats. Once you've done that, I'm going to choose our pointer again. I'm going to select all of those 4 notes now of the second chord, and I'm going to lengthen them so they're a bit longer, and I'm going to get them to go almost all the way to 2, or in fact all the way up to bar 2, which is the first beat of bar 2, like that. Okay, so you might want to pause and have a go. This is what that should sound like. Now what we want to do now is we want to use something called quantize. Quantize is going to enable us to get a very particular rhythm, very particular swing rhythm feel into our piece. At the moment, quantize is set to 16s, which means 16th notes, which are semiquavers. What we want to do is change the quantize setting from 16ths to 1/8 triplets. So that is quaver triplets. So it should say 1/8T here, that's quaver triplets. And if we then select those 4 longer notes, just the 4 longer notes, you don't need to do anything with these ones, select those 4 longer notes and then click quantize. Slightly gone to the wrong place, let's have a listen. That's in fact absolutely right. Sorry, it's moved them back slightly, and it's going to give us that kind of swing feel that we're after. That kind of bouncy kind of swing feel. What I've realised is now we need to adjust the end of the notes, because they're now overlapping the second bar. So what we need to do is just grab the end of those notes, just bring them back so they finish before or just on the second bar, okay? Because then we're going to do another chord. Right? You want to pause and have a go at all that. Once we've got our two chords, chord play twice here, and we've quantized it so it comes just after that, halfway between 1.2 and 1.3, what we're going to do is we're going to select all of that. In fact, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to shorten our region down to 1 bar. So we're going to drag this right back down to bar 2. So that region, you can see now, starts on bar 1, finishes on bar 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use copy and paste here. So copy and paste, Alt, drag and drop. Just repeat that for the second bar. So that's 2 bars of C7 chord now. Now I'm going to do 2 more bars of C7. So what I can do is select both of these bars, Alt, drag and drop. So I've now got 4 bars all on the chord C. Pause and have a go. Here's what it sounds like. Okay. Now we have done these 4 bars here. So we're on to this 4 bars here. So the next thing that happens is we do 2 bars on F. Same type of chord, but different starting note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat, I'm going to copy and paste my C chord to bar 5. But then at bar 5 in the MIDI editor, I'm then going to select the notes and I'm going to change the pitch of the notes. So I'm going to select the notes that start on bar 5. The shorter and the longer chord that's on bar 5. You'll click the bottom note and drag upwards till I get the bottom note to be on an F, which is just there. So now I've got F, A, C, E flat, which is the notes that we need, F, A, C and E flat. We're going to repeat that. Alt, drag and drop, because that's going to last for 2 bars. Let's have a listen to that. That fits with our change of bass line as well, obviously. Then I'm going to copy and paste, because we're going back to 2 bars of C now. So I'm now going to copy and paste C chord. Any one of these first 4s is C. So I'm just going to copy this one here for 2 bars. So another copy again. Okay, last 4 bars now. First thing we're going to do is 1 bar of G. So I'm going to take another copy of the C chord. I'm going to do the same thing I did a minute ago. Select at bar 9 all of the notes in that bar. Drag up until the bottom note moves from C to G. So G is that note there. It's the 3rd note of the stack of 4. And that matches the 4 notes here, G, B, D, F. And then I need once on F. So you could either copy this again and drag those notes down a tone, or you could take a copy of your chord from bar 5, because that was where the F chord was, because we're just going to copy this chord from this bar onto this bar, so to speak. So bar 5, Alt, drag and drop. Let's have a listen. Great, last thing we're going to do, 1 more lot of C. So bars 7 and 8 are C. So I'm going to take a C chord there. I'm going to repeat that. Now we've got a whole sequence.